We spent this year of exploring our evolutionary possibilities going through the Science of Mind textbook. And I was using the extension course study that Ernest Holmes wrote to deepen my understanding of his writings. And so we reminded ourselves of all of the principles that we teach you, the principles of oneness, the principles of mastery, the principles of wholeness, forgiveness, the Christ consciousness, that Christ is not a person, it's a consciousness that understands that we are one, not with just one another, but with the spirit of life itself. We are one with the one. There is nothing outside of it. Could not be outside of it. The only thing that separates us from that spirit of life is our belief that we're separate. And so what we're always healing is our beliefs, which we got from well-intended people in our religion, in our schools, in our families. They all had good intentions, and they tried to tell us how to live in this world in a material way. But what they didn't understand is it's not just all material. There is an underlying aspect, a consciousness aspect that goes with everything, around everything, through everything. And that we are co-creating this reality with that spirit of life. We are co-creating it. So our beliefs in all of these things, like war is inevitable and disease is inevitable and all of these things, all of these beliefs outpicture because we believe them. We've created this reality together. And the good news is we can uncreate it together. We can have a new thought. And that's why this philosophy is called New Thought, although the thought is not new. Buddha said it 2,500 years ago. Christ said it 2,000 years ago. All of these masters and teachers have been telling us all along, you are one with each other and with the universe that created everything. Marianne Williamson says, you know, the universe is like electricity, and we're the lamps. And we're in an infinite variety. We could be a standing lamp, we could be a table lamp, we could be a chandelier, we could be, you know, a can light, you know, we could be a spotlight, all of these different lights. But they're each unique, they're each individual, they all shine a different light, but none of them work unless they're plugged in. They have to be plugged into electricity. So it's necessary for us to plug in to that spiritual reality, to the invisible reality, out of which everything emerges. You know, when the astronomers started looking at space instead of just the stars and the planets, what they discovered was they could see matter foaming into existence. Out of nothing, something emerged. What was it that caused that emergence? What was it that brought that into being? From nothing to something. E equals mc squared. It's the equal sign. It's all flowing back and forth. Energy to matter, matter to energy within this realm of consciousness. The consciousness of life itself that is unfolding through everything. Ernest Holmes calls, who's the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit, says, you know, he says we all have an inner friend. We all have an inner friend, and this is not a new term. Rumi and other mystics have called it the friend as well. And he said this friend lives in a state of poise, above fear, beyond hurt. This is our inner, absolute, perfect self. This friend is continually looking after our well-being, wishing us to be happy and well. It is the high counselor, the eternal guide. The high counselor. We found out last week that when Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you, the word kingdom from the Aramaic means counsel. So the counsel of God is within you. The wisdom of God is within you. But you have to plug in. You have to make some space, make some time, make some room in your mind for letting go of the intellect and allowing that invisible guide, that invisible presence to inform, to guide, to direct, to allow something new to be born. You know, we have intuition, we have inspiration, we have imagination. Those are all words for something that we have that brings us something out of the invisible into reality. We all have that capability. That is the spirit of life within us. That is the spirit of God within us. That is the spirit of spirit within us. That is that friend that is so close to us, that is present with us and in us and as us. As you know, envisioning our evolutionary possibilities, we have a team that has been looking at finding a new home. And so they get together every single week and hold consciousness for that new home. And they're not just holding consciousness. We looked at all of the visions that everybody had come up with prior to this year. We looked at those visions. We came up with a vision, but it's not something that rolls right off the tongue. So we got to come up with something else. And we also started looking at property to get an idea of what the properties are like around this, Grass Valley, Nevada City neighborhood. What are properties like? How much do they cost? What will it take? How much could we get if we sold this building? How much of a loan could we get if we wanted to buy property and build a place? And so we've been looking at all of these different things, and then we recently formed the fundraising committee because we said, well, no matter what we do, we're going to need more money than we currently have. And so we formed this fundraising committee, and that's why we're having the Erica Luckett and Lisa Ferraro coming in January. That's part of a series of events that we'll have to raise money. But we didn't get discouraged by any of the numbers and things that were going around. We just held that spirit is holding the container for this new home. So because we don't want a new home just because we want things or, we want a new home because we believe this philosophy is helpful. It gives us tools that help us to live better lives. Is there anybody here who has experienced getting a tool that helped them with a better life? Okay. So what we do is we teach about tools that give us a better life. And we don't claim to be the only game in town. We know that there are as many paths to God as there are people on the planet. And we all find what we need from wherever we find it. And we take that and we live that and we move into a greater experience of livingness, life, joy, health, wholeness, whatever it is. So we held that container knowing that that Spirit would provide for us. And so I want to tell you that this week we had a person visit who gave us a check from a couple who used to come here in the summertime. They had a summer house in Lake Wildwood. And I can't find anybody yet who knows Audrey Gibney. She was the person who really practiced religious science. She and her husband, Ed, have both passed away. And so her cousin's daughter came up to give us our inheritance from their estate, which was $166,000. So do you believe in miracles? Yes. We don't know these people, but they knew us, and we were helpful. And so they left this for us. And it's such a joyful experience because not only do we get to figure out we put it in the savings account immediately, but, not only so we'll probably get our $1.99 at the end of the year, but, we get to figure out where that money will go in relationship to where our new home is and all of that, and we also get to tithe on it. So that's a fun thing, like, ooh, who do we get to give this money to? Who do we get to give $16,000 to? Yippee. So I don't want you to just think about spirit. I don't want you to just read other people's stuff about spirit. I want each of us to have an experience of spirit. And so I'm going to ask you, and if the ushers would pass this out, I'm going to ask you to vision with me one more time. Some of you may not have been at the Love Building when we did our visioning, but we're going to go ahead and pass out the sheets. We have some, and I don't know if I made enough, but hopefully. Okay. Yeah, if you don't want to participate, you can just think about it, and you could write it down later and send it to us, because some of you may get something, some of you may not. Wait a minute, we didn't get any on the other side at all? Okay. All right. Now, the thing about visioning is, we're going to go through this process, and you may get something, and you may not get something. But something may come to you later. So what we're doing is we're creating a space. We're creating a space for something to unfold. If you don't have a pencil in the seat back in front of you, or you don't have a pen or something, we've got some more pencils there. And maybe we can just find some blank sheets of paper. Pardon? Okay, there's some extras over there. And there's a blank inside the program. Okay, there's a blank sheet inside the program as well. Okay. So you have some extras, Maureen. Who needs some? Who needs some? Okay, who else needs one over here? We've got some more extras over here. Okay. All right, so let's just take a breath. And I would like you to think of a memory or a fantasy of unconditional love. Think of a memory or a fantasy of unconditional love. Could be a partner, could be a parent, could be a pet. Could be a place in nature that just made you feel welcome, where you felt at home. So bring that memory into your awareness. Allow yourself to feel that vibration of complete accepting love, comfort, warmth, just giving, 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 giving. Total love surrounding us, imbuing our entire body. Just feel that vibration in every cell. And imagine that you have a dial and you can turn up the volume of this feeling so that it extends beyond your body, out into the room, so that the whole room is filled with that loving feeling. In spirit, there is no withhold. It is all giving in every moment. And so we open in this moment in our capacity to engage in deep listening. This is not a passive but an active process. We are reverently alert. We are listening as if it is the most important thing that has ever been said. We are available, listening. And we may get it as a word, we may get it as a feeling, we may get it as a picture or a symbol, we may get it as a smell or a feeling, whatever it is. No editing. Just let whatever is come through. Each of us receives the impression differently. So allow whatever it is to come through you. And in that consciousness we ask, what is Spirit's highest idea of itself as the new home for the Sierra Center? What is Spirit's highest idea of itself as the new home for the Sierra Center? And if something comes to you and you want to write it down, do it with a soft eye, just open enough so that you can see what you're writing. It might be a picture, whatever it is. What is Spirit's highest idea of itself as the new home for the Sierra Center? We're opening to sounds, to signs, to symbols, to feelings. Guidance, wisdom, intelligence is making itself known to us. We are receptive to the infinite possibility. We are receptive to the infinite possibility. And then we ask, what must I become in order to manifest this vision? Each of us is a part of that co-creation process. What must I become in order to manifest this vision? What is my growing edge? How must I grow? Where must I change? What must I become in order to manifest this vision? Bless you. What do I need to let go of? What is inhibiting, limiting, constricting, or constraining me? This is not about getting something, it's about letting something freeing come into our awareness. What can I let go of that no longer serves me? Are there any beliefs which inhibit my opening to this process? And what talents, gifts, and capacities do I already have to bring this vision into manifestation? What talents, gifts, and capacities do I already have to bring this vision into manifestation? Enumerating our gifts opens us to more. So what gifts, talents do I already have? And as long as we are tuned into this infinite presence, we can also ask, is there anything else I need to know in this moment? Is there anything else I need to know in this moment? And that could be anything. It doesn't have to do with the Sierra Center. It would be something personal for your own life. Is there anything I need to know in this moment? And so in this moment, we commit to that sacred vision. We may not understand what it means in this moment, but we're committing to being open to Spirit guiding us to letting us participate in our own unfoldment. And so we're thankful. We're thankful for the wisdom that we've received, for the guidance or the opening we've created for more to be revealed. So if nothing has been revealed in this moment, it may come in a dream, it may come as another thought at a later time. Whenever it comes, we are open to it. We know that something enriching and enlightening is already here and is happening now. We are awakening to the dimension of infinite mind, and we are grateful. Out of this visioning will come two things. I'm going to ask you to leave your visioning with me, if you would, so I can read them, so I can get the feeling tone and the insights that you have gained. You can put your name on it if you would like it back. I would be happy to return it to you. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to work with the team, the Expanding Joy team, to come up with a vision statement that really encapsulates the feeling tone that we want to create. Dina did such a beautiful job on that video, the 2-minute video that created that feeling, that created that essence. And we want to have some words that also express that. And so I know from your visioning that we will get that. And we will also then have a spiritual mind treatment. We'll come up with a spiritual mind treatment that we can all do, share with everybody, so that we're all sort of having a collective consciousness around this new home that expresses that feeling tone, that heart's desire, that invites more of that spiritual essence into this process. And so I am grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for all of you participating. I'm grateful for your consciousness. I'm grateful for your opening to spirit and to allowing something new to be made manifest by means of you. And so let us do our affirmation for this week, which is, I am centered in the presence of peace. 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 And so it is.